Well, I think this does a really good job of kind of explaining how the Chinese Communist Party views unrestricted warfare, because with this reframing in mind, you see the rising military aggression from the Chinese Communist Party, crossing the Taiwan Strait with military craft, crossing into Taiwan's air defense identification zone. You see these military actions not as a prelude to a military invasion, but really as a form of election interference.
Yeah, I mean, you could say, so in 1999, when the two PLA colonels wrote the book on unrestricted warfare, they had a category called non-military, okay? And that included ideological warfare. I would add exactly what you said, election warfare, because they don't need to worry about the outcome of their elections. What they can do is manipulate democratic elections, and they've been doing it. Russia's been doing it for a long time. And we've seen lots of examples of them manipulating elections, and they're getting better and better at this concept. I mean, we saw it. We saw it in the Solomon Islands, where there was heavily bribery going on, and bribery, co-option, elite capture. These are all tactics that they are employing throughout the world, and they're being successful at a very slow rate, but slowly but surely, just like the bayonet. They're pushing and pushing and pushing, and they're slowly getting their way.
I'm curious, what is the TPP argument for why Taiwan doesn't need weapons?
Because they believe that they can peacefully exist with China, sort of like a Hong Kong scenario, but better. Because Taiwan is better than Hong Kong, and they would never need to, have to worry. And they're still under the delusion of, two systems, one country concept, which was what was sold to Hong Kong until Xi Jinping said, "Well, we're going to change the rules. Now we're in charge." And so, I think that's a delusion, and there are people who believe that. And a lot of those people believe that because they have corporate companies. There are some Taiwanese companies, just like there are American companies in communist China operating, and they seem to operate quite nicely.
Yeah, like Foxconn that makes our iPhones.
Yes, exactly. So this is the deception that's occurring, and some people believe it, and the more you lie, the more people believe it, and I think they're mistaken. And history has shown that each place that China took over illegally, such as Mongolia, Inner Mongolia, such as Xinjiang, such as Tibet, such as Hong Kong and Macau, and all these places, and the islands in the Southeast Asian Sea, etc., and parts of Vietnam that they didn't return to Vietnam after the 1979 war. All these places are clear indications that this fantasy that they can live peacefully with the communist regime in Beijing is really, really dangerous.
Well, one of the interesting things about the TPP, the Taiwan People's Party, is that its chairman, I believe, is Wen-je, right? The former mayor of Taipei.
Yeah, that's correct. And he was also, prior to that, he was a medical doctor. And
right. And I remember a few years ago, one of the guests that we had on the show, Ethan Gutman, had alleged in his book, The Slaughter, that Wen-je had knowingly sent Taiwanese people to get organ transplants in China, knowing that those organs came from killing Chinese dissidents like Falun Gong or House Christians, and that Wen-je was like okay with this. That was the allegation, at least.
Right, and I can give you an update. I mean, I know Ethan Gutman. He was here for 6 months in Taiwan, and I met with him often. And according to him, tried to prosecute him for libel, and it never proceeded.
Yeah, that was thrown out, I believe. The
exactly,
case.
It was thrown out, and I think there was another aspect to Ethan's allegation which was that Ko also taught Chinese surgeons techniques to more efficiently remove organs from patients. And again, I believe that was his allegation. And my understanding was that, again, that was thrown out as well because he's a good surgeon, I guess. So,
Huh. So now that same guy is the head of a major Taiwanese political party that wants to have closer relations with the Chinese Communist Party. This sounds like great news.
I can see why the CCP favors the TPP.
yes, and they're very happy that he and his party are according to polling in number two. And if they were to combine with the KMT, they would beat the DPP right now if the election were to occur, according to polling. But we don't know what's going to happen between now and the election time. Things could change, and that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about that there will be actions that they've concocted that will perhaps push those numbers in favor of political parties that will compromise the democratic country of Taiwan's independence.
So, what can countries around the world do to counteract the Chinese Communist Party's unrestricted warfare? Because, as you said, in the case of Taiwan, they try and make it a lose-lose proposition for anyone trying to fight back.
Right. So the first thing is the countries that are members of the UN Security Council who are democratic, which would include the United States, France, United Kingdom, they need to step up and push back and use all measures available to them to encourage pro-Taiwanese other nations who are maybe less powerful to step up. So many countries are waiting for the U.S. to do something because they're afraid of getting stomped by the Communist Party in China, as they have done in the past with Australia, Japan, Lithuania, many countries around the world, where these countries have stepped up a little bit and have been hammered by the CCP. So if the United States, for example, were to make a statement about in the diplomatic arena, and let's say they would continue to increase the technological boycotting of the communist China, and in other areas, pushing back, maybe more military presence in the Southeast Asian Sea, supporting more military exercises with the Philippines, maybe providing incentives for more countries to do business with the non-communist friendly countries in the United States and India, for example. India would be a great country to move a lot of operations to. In other words, be a leader. And the United States doesn't appear to be that leader right now. And so a lot of countries are afraid to be the nail that sticks up and get hammered by the CCP. So there has to be at least one of these countries who is not fearful of the CCP, and build a coalition that will respond and push and block and push back on the CCP. And until that happens, a lot of countries are scared to do anything because they know that economically they can get punished by China.
Well, the good thing is the United States isn't just another nail, it's an even bigger hammer.
Well, let's use it. Let's not be afraid to use the Communist Party's terminology, comprehensive national power. The United States has huge comprehensive national power, and we're not employing it. We're just letting them beat us in many of these different areas, and we need to stop it, and we need to push back. And we're not doing it in my opinion, aggressively enough to, again, going back to the picture of the bayonet, we need to put up some steel. and we need to stop them from doing things that are clearly not right, and we're not doing it. So everybody is waiting for the United States or somebody just to pick up the baton, and we're not doing it. So we need to be leaders, and then once we're leaders, the other countries will follow and work with us. I mean, we are building a coalition. I mean, there is some movement on the positive side. I can't be totally negative. Is we are building relationships. For example, the United States and India have signed 4 agreements that will enable the two countries to work together in case there's a war. It's not a full-up treaty, but it's the infrastructure for a treaty. The United States has encouraged other countries to build relationships with Japan. Japan now has agreements with Australia, with United Kingdom. Japan and South Korea have kissed and made up, so to speak, and they're now discussing a mutual defense treaty. So these are all good movements, and they're moving forward, but they're not moving forward quick enough, and there needs to be more action. For example, the United States, declared in the NDA that was signed in December that they would be training, the United States military would be training groups of 500 Taiwanese in the United States, and we would send up to 200 or more trainers to Taiwan. Well, maybe next year we should double that or triple that and continue to push back. Okay. And we should never say that we are going to reduce our support to Taiwan. We need to continue to increase. We need to show that the Chinese Communist Party that their actions have consequences. And we need to make sure that they understand what our actions are and why we're doing it in response to their misdeeds. We need to treat them like a child. And if they get out of line, we need to smack them or push back and show them that we are not afraid of doing things that will cost them something in the economic field, in the diplomatic field, in the financial field, or wherever. And ideologically, we need to develop a strategy that doesn't just focus on diplomacy and the military dimension, because we're not going to win that kind of battle, because they are operating in many other dimensions and we aren't thinking in these many dimensions.
I just have to say the China Unscripted podcast does not advocate for smacking children. For the comments.
I didn't want to, I'm not referring to that, but maybe put them on the stairs for a few minutes until they can control themselves.
Yeah, we have to put the CCP on timeout.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Timeout. That's a better word. Yeah.